Hello guys, today we're gonna see how to solve a DP problem. Well, in this problem they are asking us if we can form the word vika by selecting one or zero letters from each column from left to right, and if we read vika after doing the selection. Well, first of all, they give us the number of test cases that are up to 100 and the size of the matrix, the height and the width. For example, in this test case, we can select the letter V from the first, I from the second, K from the third, and A from the fourth. And so we're gonna print yes. In the second test case, we cannot form the letter vika because we cannot take any V from this matrix. So let's see how can we solve it. Let's take a test case in which we cannot form the word vika. Well, this problem can be solved also with greedy, because if we always take the column in which we find the first letter that we are searching for, we guarantee that we can form the word. But let's solve it with DP. So they are telling us that we have to form the word vika, and let's see how we can solve it. Well, we can take one letter or zero letters from each column. So in this case, we can take the letter V from the first, letter I from the second, and we have to take the letter K until the fourth column. So we cannot take the letter A from because we don't have more columns. So let's see how we can solve it. Well, basically in DP we always do all the possibilities, but we record the ones that we already calculated. This is why we can save some time. So in this test case, what we can do is we can ask a question like, can we form the word until B, or until I, or until K, or until A by selecting until the K column. So let's see why this can help us. Can we form the word by until the third index? And the answer is going to be yes. Can we form the word by until this first column? So the answer is going to be no. So from here we know that we can save some time by doing these questions. So let's see how to solve it. Well, basically we're gonna have the columns here, and here the index of the word. So we know that it's always going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because we have 4 letters. Well, in DP we always have our base test case, that is the one that we always set to true or to false depending on the problem. And in this test case we're gonna form it to always true, because we're gonna say, can we form an empty string by selecting any column? So the answer is going to be yes. We can always form an empty string by selecting any of the columns. So this is our base. So now let's go to the first one, that can we form the letter V if we take 0 columns? Okay, we know that we will never be able to take a non-empty string if we don't select any column. So from here it's going to be always 0. So now let's check. Can we form the letter V from the first column? The answer is going to be yes, because we have it. But we also have to consider that if we already formed the previous letter, so it means we got the empty string and in the previous column, so it's going to be true. Since we already formed it, we know that our answer for all of the other columns is going to be 1. So now let's say for the second, that is the letter I, can we form it? Let's see with the first column. With the first column, yes, we have an I, but we haven't get the letter V from the previous row and in the previous column. So since this is false, we're going to place false. And from here, we're gonna say, do we have a letter I in the second column? Yes, we have. So, and since we've already found the letter V in the previous column, so we're gonna place yes. So from here we know that it's going to be yes for the rest. So can we form the letter K in the first column? No, because we haven't got the letter I. And from here it's also 0 because we didn't get the one. So from the third, do we have a letter K here? No, we don't have. We found the letter I in the previous, but we didn't find the K, so it's going to be 0. Do we have the letter K in the fourth column? Yes. And did we find the previous letter in the previous column? Yes. So we're gonna fill with ones. And now, do we have the fourth letter, that it's the letter A? So we cannot form from here, not from here, not from here. And in the fourth column, we have the letter A, but since we didn't form in the previous column and in the previous row, we're gonna print no. So our answer is always going to be in the size of the word vika and the size of the column. So if this is 1, it means we can form it. If this is 0, it means we cannot form it. So let's see how we can code it. We're gonna code this in C++. So let's start. Let's use a fast reading. So let's read our test cases. And let's read the height and the width of the matrix. So we are gonna have a vector of strings of size h, and we are gonna read it. Now let's set our DP. We know that we're gonna have one row more and one more, so let's see that the number of rows is going to be the size of the letter vika. Our target is the word vika, so we're gonna have this. So it's gonna be rows plus 1. So now let's start filling our DP. We're gonna fill first the base. So our DP 0 in the column I is going to be always to 1. And let's fill the DP with 0. So now let's start coding it. Mine in lower than rows, and this is going to be lower than our columns. So let's check if we found the letter. So let's iterate over the rows of the column. So if our matrix in Ka is equal to vika in the position I, it's going to be true and we can break because we already found it. So in order to fill our DP, we're gonna set that the current DP that is in one index set is going to be the value of the previous DP, the previous row and column, and if we found the letter or if we already found it in the previous column in the same row. So it's going to be I plus 1. This is our current, and the previous is going to be just J. The actual, remember that we are adding 1 because we are working with one index set. So with this we already have our answer. So now let's check if our DP in rows W is true. We're gonna print yes. Otherwise, we're gonna print no. And remember that when we use the fast reading, we cannot use E and L because it clears the flow. So now let's run it. Let's go first with a simple test. That is the first one. And let's come. It's 2 points. And from here is target. So now let's go with all the test cases. So it seems to be okay, so let's submit the code. So thank you for watching. If you have any problem, please feel free to comment. Thank you.